know. See what happens.
Not to cancel.
He said he was gonna get up and talk under
Scott?
department heads.
Scott? Okay. Call to order the Delaware County Commissioners meeting of Tuesday, September the 6th, 2022. It's now 9:03. Please stand if you wish for the pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Mr. Craycraft, please.
Mr. King,
Here.
Mr. Henry,
Here.
Ms. Reagan,
Present.
Mr. Brooks.
Here.
Okay. What's your pleasure on the table of business?
Make a motion, we remove the ARP tourism hospitality grant request for the fairgrounds off the table.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. King,
Yes.
Mr. Henry.
Yes.
Ms. Reagan.
Yes.
I have been speaking with Tom, the president of the Fair Board, and also Bob, who's been working on this sign grant. He did provide 3 quotes. Advanced Signs and Graphics has the best detailed quote. It's not necessarily the cheapest, but it's more detailed. And I would make a recommendation that we approve that request for Advanced Signs for $43,133.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Henry,
Yes.
Mr. King,
Yes.
Ms. Reagan.
No. Okay, thank you very much.
What I'll do, Commissioners, is, since this is going through the Visitors Bureau, the ARP, I'll prepare the grant agreement like I did the other recipients, send it to the President of the Fair Board for him to sign, get back, so then they can, Jenny can have it to process the claim.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
So it will take a little bit, Bob, to get this done, but
Okay. So, any other business undertabled?
make a motion, we remove the defer Varana agreement off the table.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. King,
Yes.
Mr. Henry.
Yes.
Ms. Reagan.
Yes.
Mr. Brook, is there any reason why you cannot take care of the deed sale?
The tax sale, no, there's not.
Okay.
What's your pleasure?
I make a motion, we don't approve that contract.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. King,
Yes.
Mr. Henry.
Yes.
Ms. Reagan.
No. Okay. Approval of minutes of August 15th, Commissioner meeting, August 18th, a special meeting.
Motion to approve both meetings.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Henry.
Yes.
Mr. King,
Yes.
Ms. Reagan.
Yes. Thank you. Now we are very fortunate today to have 2 young men here with the JUMP program, Mr. Hansard and Mr. Bush, who have been working very hard for us the past year.
Good morning, Commissioners. Jeff Hansard, Chief Probation Officer. Myself and Officer Bush have come up today to update the Commissioners on the Delaware County JUMP program, which stands for the Judicial Users Manufacturing Partnership. In 2021, coming out of the pandemic, the officers in our department were challenged to think big about many of the problems that we face as a community and also problems that came about as a result of the pandemic. Being probation officers, we see firsthand kind of the issues that we're dealing with in the community. One of the big ones was the issue of employment. We're always trying to get our probationers gainful employment. Several of the local manufacturers indicated they had a real need for employees, and at any given time in this county, we have about 1,200 individuals under probation supervision, so many of whom who are unemployed or underemployed. So we challenged the officers to think big on these problems, and Officer Bush really delivered by building capacity in what he was already doing informally out of his office, which was connecting probation clients with employers. So he was able to scale up what he was doing informally out of his office, and through some strategic partnerships that probation was able to develop, we were able to get help from different entities within the community, and we were able to bring the JUMP program kind of under the auspices of the Ivy Tech Work Matters program, which there's some folks from Ivy Tech here this morning that will join us as well. We were able to pilot this program, and John is going to talk a little bit about the details where we are at right now with the program and kind of what's next. From my perspective as chief, I just want this program and kind of the tractions it's gained, the momentum, to show that the probation department is in a strategic place that really no other entity within the community, both in the government or nonprofit sectors, occupy. Our role, by its nature, forces us to interact with the courts, obviously, law enforcement, nonprofit agencies, employers, local governmental entities. So I just want the commissioners to understand that the county's probation department is working on a number of the issues that really kind of vex the community, both in Muncie and Delaware County, not just employment. We're working on program. Obviously, we've been working with IRACS, the new jail recovery program, very intimately. They have offices, space in our department. We're working with them very closely, and they're a part of this program as well. We're also working on a lot of the local gun violence issues in the community as well. So I just want the commissioners and the public to understand that folks within the government are working on these issues, and we're going to be soliciting help from a lot of different folks in the community to get a handle on these issues. So I'll turn it over to Officer Bush, and he can apprise you on the status of the JUMP program currently.
Thank you. Well said.
Thank you and good morning.
Morning.
I'm John Bush, Delaware County Probation Officer, and as Jeff introduced me just previously, I have worked for many years out of my office connecting individuals with employment in the community as a probation officer, and we were basically, we sat down one day and came up with this program, the JUMP program. And it's really just launching on a grander scale what we've been doing informally in our offices and creating formal partnerships between the government and the community. So we're connecting that triangle of the government, the academic institutions, and the community so that we're not all operating independently, we're operating together. And so I provided you, before this meeting started, a JUMP status report. We've done a preliminary pilot over the last several months since about April. I had a cohort of clients that I've been monitoring, as well as I've sent a couple dozen, I think, through Ivy Tech, through their programming. And out of tracking the JUMP status report and the figures that we have, since April to August, we've had 2 referral sources from the probation department and community corrections, and we had a total of 24 participants that we were monitoring. 5 of those we had some pretty significant issues with, so they have been removed. And as of the August 25th, the 19 that I was monitoring, they were still working. And so at the 90-day and the 120-day mark, we had about a 79% retention rate on employment for the individuals we were tracking. The JUMP program follows a model of social learning, and we have intermittent contact with our clients that are being placed in the program, as well as a constant flow of communication between the employers, the HR folks with the employers, and Ivy Tech, which they have a representative here as well, that intermittent contact and that positive reinforcement and that continuous contact and tracking is shown to be successful. The JUMP program is based out of the social learning theory. Social learning is through repetition and hard work, and individual through that repetition of showing up to work every day and getting that positive reinforcement, they're learning how to live a little differently than what they were before. What I typically said about clients that we didn't have in the program, most people on probation, not all, but many individuals, they're in a state of crisis. we are interventionists in the probation department. And in that primary stage of crisis, most people are just getting through their day. They're not thinking about the future. So the JUMP program is uniquely suited to engage those individuals in their attitudes and belief systems through the repetition of work and going to the workplace every day and then getting a paycheck to get that reinforcement. And then through that social learning, they're beginning to change their lives independently so that when we release them from supervision, we can feel pretty good in knowing that they're going to be self-supporting and independent. So that's the whole premise of the program. And just to follow up on some of the demographic numbers, we had 16 males and 8 females placed. We had 12 of them were low risk, 10 of them were moderate risk, and 2 of them were what we call high risk. These are individuals that have, legal records or instability in their lives. They're scored on a matrix. And so we believe that with these numbers, this program, the overall effectiveness will be very high in the long run. And so we're here today to give you that preliminary status report that things are looking pretty good now, and we have a true partnership with Ivy Tech in the Work Matters program, and how Work Matters is the academic component, and they've been around longer than JUMP. And they will be able to speak more on the specifics of Work Matters, and I'd like to invite Jen Gaziork from Ivy Tech to kind of talk about the Work Matters project and how it intertwines with JUMP, but also how it works independently. And so I'll turn it over to Jen, and thank you for your time.
Thank you, John.
Good morning. I'm Jennifer Gassiorek. I'm the Vice Chancellor of Workforce Partnerships and Strategic Communications for Ivy Tech. We are excited to provide educational resources to justice-involved individuals. As you know, Ivy Tech has a long history of helping different organizations, and this is just another opportunity to become a referral source for the JUMP program as well as other programs within the justice-involved population. Work Matters started, almost a year and a half ago, when Stephen Brand, who is with Magna, had come to us with unemployment issues, saying we need to increase the labor participation rate within our community. And so we started brainstorming on different ways to do that. As a result, we have worked with the justice involved, but we have also done other things, such as hopefully, when all is said and done, there'll be a new child care center out at the Industrial Parkway, as well as increase some wages within Ivy Tech's graduates, worked with internships and work and learn experiences, and have increased our our advanced manufacturing, engineering, and applied sciences school by 40%, which basically means we have 40% more industrial maintenance group, mostly industrial maintenance and HVAC folks that are in the workplace. So those are some things that have resulted as a part of Work Matters, and we're excited that not only are we going to be working with manufacturing, but we'll be working with other sectors as well. The JUMP program, as well as other justice-involved programs, will allow us to be a great resource to help reduce recidivism and help provide some stability within that population. Do you have any questions?
Well, thank you very much. It's very nice to meet you, and I've been hearing a lot about the Work Matters, and we appreciate you coming today to share this good news with us. And
Thank you.
thank you very
We
much.
appreciate all your work on that. Also, Mr. Hansard and Mr. Bush, thanks for what you're doing also. Thank you.
Okay. Under contracts, the professional service from Mr. Carmichael.
Good morning.
Morning.
James Carmichael, County Assessor. The legislature passed a law, HB 1260, that the county assessor shall put all of their property records online or a link to view those records. We have contacted, or they contacted us. We were looking at several different options. Beacon, which everybody's familiar with, gave us a proposal, and I thought a very good one as well, to extend the services that we already have for $1,344 additional a year. So we think that's very good. Just a little side note with Beacon is there have been, in a period of 1 year, 529,000 visits to that site. Average visits today, 1,451, and requests for each visit, a little over, almost 12. So if you take all of that and do the math on it, we get over 6 million visits or requests a year. So,
I use Beacon all the time. I'm probably 1,000 of those, but
yeah, you go in there,
Probably
you've
3,000
got
or
to,
4,000.
you've got to, you go in there, you've got to go into each individual area to take a look at maps and
yeah.
and so forth and so on. I don't know if the tax bill portion of it is part of that request or not, probably is. So this is an ongoing thing, so it's $1,344 per year.
I make a motion
Infinity.
we approve the agreement.
Second.
I have reviewed the agreement. James did send it to me, and it's acceptable.
Yes, thank you. And I see this valid through August 31st. I'm sure they'll still honor
Yes.
the price. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mr. Henry.
Yes.
Mr. King.
Yes.
Ms. Reagan.
Yes. Thank you,
Thank
Gene.
you.
Thank you.
Sorry about your boo-boo.
Carry on the family tradition.
Okay, I believe Mr. Humbert, Mrs. Dye's here today.
Mr. Humbert's sick today. So.
Oh, is he? Okay.
Good morning. This is a contract agreement on what you guys approved at the special meeting for Creekwood Estates, the paving in there.
John, you looked at it as well?
Yes, this is the agreement that we put together as a basic go-to for the highway department, so it's acceptable.
I make a motion we approve the agreement.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. King.
Yes.
Mr. Henry.
Yes.
Ms. Reagan.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, now we have a memorandum understanding with the Muncie Sanitary Department. And Mr. Barlow and Mr. Brand are here, I believe.
Good morning. I'm John Barlow,
Morning.
District Administrator, Muncie Sanitary District. I have Stephen Brand, Commissioner President of Muncie Sanitary District. And we're here to answer any questions regarding a memorandum of understanding. I believe we submitted to Ms. Moyer back in April for your review regarding assistance, mutual and beneficial, we hope, of log jams on the bridges here in Muncie. And so I would submit to ask any questions that you may have regarding this.
Yes. I believe that Ms. Moyer was in favor of it with Mr. Humbert. I
John,
think,
you looked it over, right?
I did look it over. I know we had discussion about it.
I believe our stormwater meeting, we could take 25,000 out of the stormwater and Angie would come up with the rest.
We talked about that. I thought there was a discussion about not having an annual fee, but on a per logjam basis, see what the fee was up to a certain amount, which they've included in the revised agreement.
Right, there's a not to exceed annually of $50,000.
Okay.
And then we would procure services, and some of it we can do self-performing, which would only be then disposal cost. Some of them are a little bit out of our hands that we could take care of, like High Street. And then so we would procure the services, get rid of the debris, and then we would make sure that the commissioners had proper invoicing, proper photos and so forth of before and after, and then we would just invoice as we went. Anything in excess of $50,000, we would talk to you guys first, and/or we would take care of it if it exceeded something to that effect.
Like, that was the revision that after from the one in April that.
And if I might, just for reference sake, last year at the High Street Bridge and the East Jackson Street Bridge, and again, this is just for your reference as far as on cost, we disposed of over 60 tons of debris, and the cost for disposal with that was just over $30,000. So, again, I've got a reference of the various jams in town right now. the biggest one is High Street. The other ones are fairly small. Again, we can self-perform those. And then, High Street and possibly Elm Street might have some bigger ones. But overall, I don't anticipate anything would be exceeding the $50,000 in the contract.
And the faster maybe you get them, that keeps that from piling up quite a bit. Let the next city take care of it.
Absolutely. If you get a good enough rain, it'll end up downstream anyway. I hate to say that for Pete or anyone or Daleville or anybody else, but if we can get them out of the stream. Also, the idea for MSD, the reason we're interested in it too, is that these jams can create hydraulic scour, and that can damage the levee, which we are responsible for. There was some damage at the Elm Street levee a couple years ago. It was a substantial cost to get it back to Corps of Engineers standards for that. So the faster we can get these out, the less we'll have that kind of hydraulic issues as the river goes downstream.
Very good.
I'll make a motion to approve the memorandum of understanding.
I'll second it. Please send photos with your invoices.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. As far as on when we're doing them?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
absolutely.
if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I can drop off to a one that I just received last week that shows the current status. I would leave those, if with your permission, with you guys to look at, so that you'll have a reference ongoing.
Absolutely.
Okay. Very good.
Thank you.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Mr. Henry.
Yes.
Mr. King.
Yes.
Ms. Reagan.
Yes.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Okay. Mrs. McCammond, your Humana Medicare plan.
I'll scan it, send it to you. I got your email.
Oh.
Sorry.
Have them sign it so we sign it and Denise can do what she needs to.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Good morning, Pam McCammon, Human Resources. I bring this to you every year, Commissioners. It's an agreement with Unified that we recommend our retirees to go through Humana as a supplement insurance. And this year they're offering wonderful discounts. So it's just something we agree to every year and that you guys have to sign off on.
I make a motion we approve.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. King.
Yes.
Mr. Henry.
Yes.
Ms. Reagan.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And the next one I have is, in the HR office, we are changing our portal to where all of our insurances and new hires and everything is going through one portal. And that's called Still Benefits. Well, they also offer other benefits. That's what I'm here for today. I'm interested in the digital engagement and employee communications. In other words, that's like text messaging instead of doing so much email, because people don't like the emails, they don't answer their emails, and they don't respond to them. So this way, it's just like going to a doctor's appointment or something like that. I would send text messages out to them. And that would go
Individuals.
through our portal that we're using now. Of course, it's at a cost, but it's a great convenience. So
That's $10,728
yes,
a year.
John, did you have a chance to?
I did. I don't find anything wrong with this one.
I'll make a motion we approve the agreement.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Henry.
Yes.
Mr. King.
Yes.
Ms. Reagan.
Yes.
thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. This brings us up in the world, because text is the way to go. Okay, now we have the fourth amended recovery plan.
Yes. At your suggestions, we revised the American Rescue Plan. I added some language about the dividing up the $1 million that the Visitors Bureau had to half to the Visitors Bureau for restaurants and tourist attractions, the other half to businesses. that Ted Baker would administer that. The Visitors Bureau would still have their amount, $500,000 for that, for the restaurants, tourist locations, and hotels and whatnot. I think there's only one hotel in the county outside the incorporated city, so it would apply to that. I added the volunteer fire department's request for electronic for communication during an emergency and during the pandemic. They found that they were woefully under communication-wise. They had some issues, and so with the upgrade the 911 center had, the volunteer fire departments need to be upgraded as well. I think there were a couple other changes I put in there. I sent you a highlighted version, and you have a clean copy in your folder. It accounts for all of the money that's been received by the county, down to the penny for the American Rescue Plan.
I make a motion we approve the plan.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. King,
Yes.
Mr. Henry.
Yes.
Ms. Reagan.
Yes. Thank you for working on that, John.
Okay.
Okay, now we have a United Consultant for the Bell Road and,
There's actually two agreements for United
Wastewater.
Consultants. One is for Bell Road out there, which is part of the American Rescue Plan for the stormwater, water, and sewer out in the west side of Albany. And the other one is for some, the Shell building, and I'm stepping on Brad's toes, but Shell building out there in Delville, and that's also part of the American Rescue Plan. That's only for infrastructure work.
No, you're doing just fine, John. I was just going to add that Commissioner Reagan and John had made me aware there were a couple changes that needed to be made in the signature line of one of the agreements. Mr. Larison is here from United Engineering. He's aware of those. I'd ask you to approve subject to those changes being made to the signature line.
Motion to approve.
Second.
roll call, please.
Mr. King,
Yes.
Mr. Henry.
Yes.
Ms. Reagan.
Yes,
Thank you, Commissioners.
thank you. Then we have the supervising hospital agreement. Mr. Ashley?
Yep, Mike Ashley, Delaware County EMS. I'm just trying to seek your approval for a new supervising hospital agreement between IU, Ball Memorial, and Delaware County EMS.
I'll make a motion we approve this agreement.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Henry.
Yes.
Mr. King.
Yes.
Ms. Reagan.
Yes.
Thank you.
Very much.
Well, see, this one needs to be changed to the county.
Ordinance, first reading, ordinance
These are two
number
separate agreements. Really, I think Cheryl wanted to show in Delaware
2022-022
County instead of just calling it.
for the Delaware County Code, purpose controlling unwanted and excessive noise in Delaware County.
So this, it's come up several times. I'm sure you guys have dealt with it as well as people requesting something to be done about noise out in the county and some of the different situations that occur in the county. I'd spoken with Marta Moody as well, and so I had John draft something up about noise ordinance. And I know we don't have any kind of fines or anything in there. There is a decibel reading for the noise, which gets kind of complicated sometimes, but you can purchase decibel meters and enforce this, but I think it's something we need in the county.
John, I noticed on section 4, the penalty, the first offense, second offense, and third, there's no,
That's correct. I left it to the discretion of the commissioners. That's why this is on first reading for your review. I wanted you to take a look at that and let me know what your thoughts were concerning the amount of the penalties.
have you contacted some other counties to see what they've had, or?
I base this upon about 5 different jurisdictions, their sound noise ordinance, and their numbers were all over the board. That's why I left it blank. They didn't have a uniform, consistent policy on how they would assess fines. Some of them were $25, some of them were $500 or $1,000.
So would we have to provide with the sheriff deputy some of those, what do you call them, monitors? or-
Decibel meter. You guys have one of those, Tony, do you know?
That, there were other ordinances that didn't have the decibel meter in it, but when I was talking to Commissioner Henry, he wanted some objective criteria
Yeah,
for enforcing
I
it
think
because
we
it
need
becomes,
some.
becomes difficult to
Well,
enforce.
I know we've talked several years ago about this, because I got a gentleman that lives just right outside of Delville that supposedly to scare his crows away. I think the deputies have been out a couple times on him, but it sounds like a cannon going off. And it shakes the windows of the neighbors and everything. And I kept telling him then that we really didn't have anything put in place. I think it'd be good, honestly.
This would help address that.
Yep.
There's also a section that is for, and I know from some of my representing small towns, there is a constant problem with dogs barking all the time. And so I put that in there, which is excessive and continuous noise. That isn't an objective criteria, but it's something that's constant, that goes on all the time.
Yeah,
That's a big issue in some of the small towns I represent.
yeah, it's not being a good neighbors.
Right, exactly.
Thank you.
The decibel meters are anywhere from 100 to, or 20 to 150 bucks.
I would think,
We
I
have
think
to
we
have
could,
them.
we
Yeah.
could cover that.
Yeah. I'll make a motion, we introduce ordinance number 2022-022.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Henry.
Yes.
Mr. King.
Yes.
Ms. Reagan.
Yes. And if the public would like to weigh in, we'd appreciate it.
I would suggest that you have somebody put it on the website. I was gonna send, once you introduce it, I was gonna send a copy to the sheriff for him to review as well, and
Sure.
if there's any edits that the sheriff has, then we'd be happy for you guys to consider those, but I wanted to see if it was gonna introduced first, so.
Yeah, thank you.
I'll put it on the website.
Okay. Okay. Department heads, elected officials.
Commissioners, good morning. Molly Hunt, Purdue Extension Area Director. I'm here today to inform you guys of a couple staffing updates that we have here locally in our Delaware County office. We have a vacancy in the Agriculture and Natural Resources position. Lauren Teamy took a new job with Ball State among the faculty ranks and will be covering their GIS department as well. So we wish her the very best. Justin Curley, previously Jay County A&R, will be serving interim as the A&R Educator and County Extension Director effective September 1. A letter was sent to the auditor giving him signatory powers. We also have a vacancy in our 4-H Youth Development position, and I have with me today Kylie Penrod, who will be serving as the 4-H Youth Development Educator here in Delaware County through the hiring process to make sure that there is no interruption of services and that we fulfill our end of the contractual services agreement that we have with Delaware County every year.
Oh, welcome.
So I just wanted to make those introductions and provide you guys with an update, as well as allowing you an opportunity to ask me any questions that you might have.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Welcome to Delaware County.
Thank you.
Any other departments?
We're working on it.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
Ginger Brown, HR Assistant. We just wanted to come to you today as an HR department and let you know that we have been doing some research on expanding our benefit offerings for our employees. And we have come up on a program that is a discount program for employees who are employed by Delaware County. It is a no-cost program to the county, no-cost program to the employee. Everybody loves something free. And it is discounts that you have your choice to pick what you're looking for. even in different cities and states, like if you're going to Kings Island or Cedar Point or things like that, you can get discount tickets, you can get discount hotels, airfare, you can get discounts on groceries, special events, etc. Like, it's just a plethora of things that you can get discounts on just for signing up. We plan to send out an email with the flyer and the code so that you can enroll and sign up for those. I'll just give you a couple examples. A Sam's membership normally is $45. You can get it for $19.99 for the year through this program. Movie tickets normally would cost $15.50. You can get them for $10.50. That's just a small example of things, the discounts that they're offering. So we're asking today that you guys would possibly approve and agree that that would be a flyer and a program that we could offer to our employees, like I said, at no cost.
It does sound very good. I do question, Jim, can you check this program out and make sure that there's no scams to it, or, I mean, it's just more, you know, opening up. That's the only question I have.
Yeah, I'm good with it.
Them too.
Okay. Jim, I can get you the website. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Need a motion on that?
No, we don't have to vote on that, do we?
For a complete record, you probably should, just to approve it.
Make a motion to approve it.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. King.
Yes.
Mr. Henry.
Yes.
Ms. Reagan.
Yes. Thank you. Tommy.
Good morning.
Morning.
Tommy Gould, Delaware County Veteran Service Officer. I just wanted to share a experience I had last week. I was able to join up with some pretty amazing people to make something happen that was very heartfelt and needed to be done. So Commissioner Henry, Big John, your group, my guys and stuff, we were able to collect a trailer load of goods to take down to Kentucky. And the news does not do it justice. I mean, to see that thing firsthand and devastation, it was heartbreaking. But it was a huge success. I believe we made a difference. And there's so many people I want to thank. It wouldn't have been possible without my Delaware County family, you know, coming together and donating stuff, and the Legions, Knights of Columbus, the Journey Home, you name it. And just having you guys' support and backing, we made a difference. So I just wanted to thank you guys.
Well, Tommy, I want to thank you. It was, you got all that stuff together, you organized it all and got everything together, and started working with Director Catino over at EMA, and Kyle Johnson and Corey Kissick, and let's not forget Mark Logan. From Yorktown. He also drove and took a whole truckload of water, and it was devastating down there. And those people were very thankful for everything that was donated by Delaware County employees and everybody that chipped in. But Tommy, you did it. You put it all together. So I want to thank you, and again thank the guys from EMA for working with you to get that stuff down there. So good job.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thanks,
John.
Thanks.
Appreciate all of that.
As a longtime Fair Board member, I want to thank you for the sign. We have worked on that for many years, and we were just not able to come up with the funds, so we really appreciate your votes.
Welcome.
Good morning, Commissioners. Scott Alexander, County Council President. Last Tuesday, the County Council requested that I come to you and talk to you about paying for audio and video of the budget hearings. And that's what I'm here to do today. I've talked to, I guess, all three of you over the last week or so, and I know you've expressed some concerns. I've expressed some concerns too as well. So I was tasked by council to request that you guys would
fund that, so that's why I'm here today.
Well, personally, I've thought about it, and personally, I don't, it seems like every time it was brought up in your meeting, and it seems like it gets brought up by council a lot, but to be transparent. You know, I'm sick of that being transparent stuff. I mean, I agree we have to be transparent, but it seems like the only way now we can be transparent is by video and being on live on Facebook. You know, the doors are open here in the meeting room. The doors are open in the meetings for the budget hearings, and people can attend those. And you know, tomorrow you guys are going to have budget hearings for 10 or 12, 13 hours, and we're going to have to pay for this. It's going to cost probably $3,000 or $4,000 for 3 or 4 people, maybe 10 people, to sit wherever they're working and listen or watch the budget meetings. And then it's going to get used on social media. They're going to take little bits and pieces of that. Some of these people that bash the county for everything they do on social media, they're going to put that on social media and make a big deal about that. And, you know, I'm sick of that. I'm tired of that. If you want to come to the meeting, if you want to attend a meeting, again, the doors are open. Come to the meetings. I'm tired of it. I agree. Everyone, you know, we got to be as transparent as we can, but that doesn't mean we have to put it on Facebook Live so everyone can watch it. To me, that's not the way it should be. I understand social media is the up and coming thing, but I think it's, and I'm sure I'll get bashed for this, but I think it's a waste of money. If you want to come to the budget meeting, come to the budget meeting. Sit in here and watch what everybody goes through. You know, it's easy to sit at home on the couch or home in your basement and watch it and do whatever you want. Come to the meetings.
I don't disagree with you, Shannon. It's we're on the same page on that. Yeah.
Well, as the commissioners used to get bashed by people that sit in their basement or live elsewhere. And everybody knows why I get bashed by them. But me, honestly, I didn't like being put in the position that we was put in last week. Somebody should have come and asked us before that was even brought up. Somebody should have had a number of what it was going to cost us to do this. Because all I hear is about, you know, the taxpayer's dollar, how we spend the taxpayer's dollar. But I think also some of this is so people can get some airtime, so people could to be seen on TV, or people can come to the podium and do this or do that. From my understanding, it's going to cost about $100 an hour to do this.
That's a rough estimate, and I can tell you that that council didn't, because of the timing. This kind of happened at the end of the meeting. Council did not consider what the cost would be. It was just, and I agree with you. I think it's unfair. I think, you know, if we want to do this in the future, then we need to budget for it. But we also need to consider whether this is a good.
Yeah, and Scott, here's one of my things is, like I said, I'm used to every time I turn around and something happens. If it's good, it's everybody. Sometimes when it's bad, it's me. And I get it in the paper, and I get it from everybody else all the time. But I sit on the council. I know sometimes it doesn't just take a week to do it. Sometimes it takes a week to 2 weeks to do it. Sometimes, you know, there's conversations that you guys have amongst each other and all that while you're going, which takes a big part of it up because you can't get 7 people in here to agree on one thing. It seems like you can take 2 days to agree on one thing, or to remove one item out of the budget, or to find $5 somewhere to remove out of the budget. But me personally, you know, the transparent and all that stuff is, I would do up to $4,000. That's 40 hours. After 40 hours, then if it goes over that, council needs to find the money to do it. But that's just me, because I'm not gonna sit up here and, once again, the commissioners aren't transparent, the commissioners aren't gonna do this, commissioners aren't gonna fund that, because that's what we get. You know, there was a thing that was said about our jobs being easy. That it's easy to come up here and sit in one meeting a month and figure stuff out in one meeting a month. You sit and you figure the hours that I put in, the things that I've missed from my family to do this job and do this job for the community, to build this community back up to where it was. What I make, I don't even make minimum wage. I don't even know if I make 2 cents an hour, to tell you the truth. But I'll do up to $4,000. Let everybody have their little show. That's what it's going to be. And I agree with him. It's only going to be about 10 people that's going to watch it, and all they're going to do, instead of bring our community up, they're going to bring our community down, because that's all they do. It's piss, moan, bitch, and gripe about the jobs that we do. And nobody wants to praise us when we do stuff. When we bring manufacturing, we bring businesses and stuff. You know, they just want to complain about the little things. But I would give $4,000, that's 40 hours, for everybody to have the show. After that, if they want to continue their show, they can pay for it.
Well, and I think that's one of the issues that, you know, they're saying to be transparent has to go from A to Z. And I don't know, Mark, I appreciate everything Mark does for us and video in the meetings, but at times we have issues where the meeting's either recorded and then posted later, or there's issues at times. So it may not be A to Z, and if you don't go from A to Z on this, then you're going to not be transparent, you're going to be hiding stuff, and we're going to get all that. I think it's a bad idea.
Well, and the other thing that happens too is, and it happens now with even no offense to department heads, but even with department heads, you know, council has a discussion about something, we haven't reached a final decision on that, and if they only see part of that, they're only going to get part of what has happened. So, I mean, again, it's up to you guys. I agree with James. It's not really fair for council to toss it over here. There should have been discussion beforehand with you guys on number one, whether or not we wanted to do it, and then number two, how do we handle the cost on that? That's what we do with everything else.
Well, I know when I was on council, we had an area where the council had money budgeted in. Do you guys do that anymore?
As far as for video in the meetings, or?
For things that council would need money for, to where they wouldn't have to come to the commissioners for it.
Yeah, I think with all, you know, with us cutting back, we cut back as well. So, I mean, there's really the only extra money that we budget in there is for our attorney in there. There's not really, we don't have a line item to pull. I think there's some line items for, you know, emergency pay in there still that we would be able, this wouldn't qualify for that. This is if something happened and we weren't able to transfer on an issue with an employee where there wasn't enough money to pay that line.
Well, again, I'm of the belief the doors are open in the budget meeting. You want to see what goes on at the budget meeting, come to the budget meeting.
I don't disagree with you.
Yeah.
Quick too, I know, I was looking it up. Like tomorrow and Thursday, the Facebook live stream time limit won't last for the whole day, so at some point in there, we'll have to stop and restart, so we may run into issues with that, that's just.
Yeah.
That's the point I'm trying to make.
We'll have to stop here and then it's.
We can't go A to Z.
And I don't even know if we have enough mics if somebody's out down here wanting to
Well, that should have been looked
replay.
at and everything, honestly, to me, before anything was done, and then we were put out there.
And we do have a new system coming soon, so
Right. And
maybe we should
may-
table this.
Well, maybe next year, maybe next year, once we get the new system up here, it might be more practical.
That's what I'm thinking.
But
I don't think
it's-
I don't think verbally the people, and they can even come and get a copy of the audio, because they are recorded, but, yeah.
Yeah, because believe me, those aren't 8-hour days.
No, I
Right.
agree. I think it's a terrible idea. I don't, it's gonna be for a few people to bash other people, and it's not a good idea.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other department heads? Okay.
Public?
I'm sorry. So we have our weights and measures report. We think, Jeff out there. You get your truck under.
Sorry?
You want to come to the podium, please? Mr. Brandon needs a new truck, and I didn't know if you've found one, or,
I had not, we had just discussed it, and I have not started the process yet, but I will do that.
so,
And also, I was going to ask, you had asked me to look into the possibility of gas pumps at the highway department.
yes.
Do you want me to proceed with that also? I haven't,
I would think, how old would you say those are up there?
they got a lot of years on them.
Yes.
You want to look into that?
Yeah, look into it and bring
I have a
us.
company that we work with a lot out of Kentucky that takes used ones and totally rebuilds them, which probably would be a good way to look at. So
Yeah,
I'll get a hold of them and
yeah,
start that.
appreciate
also.
that.
Okay.
And how's the tank out there? How old is that tank out there?
Sherry, I have no idea.
So-
I know that there's a company that the county contracts, and they pressure test that tank, I think, each year, so.
So they would come and tell us if it was time to change it?
Absolutely. If
Okay.
there were any leaks, it would show up,
Right, but
so.
just want to be proactive before they come and say. Thanks, Jeff, appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Okay, payment of claims of,
Yeah,
oh, I'm sorry.
Steve's coming up.
Oh, I'm sorry, Steve.
Steve Foster, Building Superintendent. I just didn't know if you guys had any questions over the last week that we had out there. I know that we had a kind of a busy weekend with the sewer backup and then with the generator. I do know that I want to get the generator company back in and do a transfer, because for some reason the ATS switch didn't transfer back. When we did find the sewer, we did find a manhole. We cleaned it all out, so.
Well, Steve, technically, it was a drain pipe.
Was the drain pipe, when it come out of the building, it went in that driveway, there was a
Right.
manhole cover that had been
I
covered up.
mean, not actually sewer, it's the drains in the restrooms,
No,
right?
it's the sewer that it went to the sewer, went to the manhole, and then goes underneath the building, goes over to the other manhole, and then goes right into the Muffin Monster, right into the lift station.
Right.
It's it's basically an open pit, so they can go in and clean them or snake them out, so.
But you found quite a bit of
Yeah, it's just
rust.
probably stuff that's been in there back when it was
40
a
years.
school. I mean, we won't go into that in front of the public, but it was a mess. It's nothing that happened over the day, but it'd been there before, because during construction, they must have found it, because they put holes in the drywall. So it was an ongoing thing. It is cleaned up. The generator is running. I just need to find out, there was some issues inside the jail. Chillers wouldn't work. The dorms were shut down. There was things that were shut down that should have been on emergency power. I don't know if that was because of the failure of the breaker or,
Yeah.
so I need to get with you guys and make a couple decisions on what we need to do with that.
Go ahead, and I would call the company and get the generator company out there, have them do a shutdown, and
I talked to Jim, I got to talk to Tony. I just want to get with everybody, because we'll come in about 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning, just transfer it,
Yeah.
but just to make sure, get it done and get it back up before
Yeah.
the day starts, because once we shut that down, I think the other half of the building has no power other than emergency, so.
Right.
I know
I'll
you,
keep you guys informed, but other than that, everything's back up and running.
appreciate your work on that. I know you worked all weekend, and.
yeah, we
and,
appreciate
we
you
appreciate
being
you,
out there.
Steve.
And
No
they did
problem.
a very nice job. Okay, payment of claims of $2,079,179.88. and the payment of the ARP claims of $239,431.21.
Motion to approve payment of claims.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. King,
Yes.
Mr. Henry,
Yes.
Ms. Reagan.
Yes, thank you. Now it's time for the public to come and speak. Any discussions?
Do we have anybody signed
Limited to
up?
3 minutes. No one did sign up. I do have the Teen Works is a program where the youth of Muncie and Delaware County that have never had a job, and it's their first job, and they do work with the JADI program out at the courts. And they're having a golf outing September the 16th, and I just told them that I would promote it to help them raise some money, because these youth do need those first employment opportunities. So anybody else have anything good for the cause?
Let's see, you have some comments on Facebook.
Yes, John.
There is a request, will the proposed noise ordinance have provisions for noise exemptions? I don't think that there are noise exemptions in there, but I'm sure you can get one. I'll have to look at that. Someone makes a notation that smartphones for there's apps for smartphones for decibel meters. So you can get it using your smartphone. And then discussions about the county council, some people in favor of it, some people against not broadcasting it because they occur while people are working.
Okay, thank you very much. Dr. Whitty.
Hi, thanks. I just wanted to announce along the lines of your fundraiser. So Red Ribbon Day is in October. It's essentially teaching youth about prevention and the harm of drugs. We're having a breakfast at Cornerstone. I appreciate those that are already sponsoring, like the Sheriff's Department. And we're having a great speaker. His name is Stephen Hill. He is an attorney who has been through, is in recovery, who favors rehabilitation instead of incarceration. He'll be a great speaker. It's, again, October 25th, 8 to 10 in the morning at Cornerstone with a breakfast speaker. And there you can sponsor. We're buying 10,000 T-shirts for elementary kids all across the county. If you want to just join us, you can buy a table for $250 or a seat for $25, and sit with all your good friends, for those of us that will be there. So anyway, I appreciate it. If you have any questions, just get a hold of me. Thanks.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, do I hear a motion for a recess?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Henry,
Yes.
Mr. King,
Yes.
Ms. Reagan.
Yes. Thank you.